usually like to begin my talks with sharing one of the stories in the book, but a couple days ago someone shared a story with me that I think is very compelling, and so I'd like to start by sharing this story with you. This is a true story. I have a friend who lives in England. She's in her 60s, and she has a friend, and the story is about her friend. The friend is an English woman also in her 60s, I believe, and this woman grew up with a mother who apparently was not particularly loving. I don't believe there was actually any actual abuse, outright abuse, but the mother was cold and distant and basically just didn't give much love to this woman. So this was the environment in which this woman was raised. So fast forward to just a few years ago, the woman's mother was very ill. She was dying. She was in the hospital and was dying somewhere in England. And the hospital called this woman and they said, your mother, we believe, is going to pass away sometime soon. We suggest you come to the hospital to say goodbye. So the woman jumped in her car and drove to the hospital as quickly as she could. And unbeknownst to her, as she was driving to the hospital, apparently the mother slipped into a state of unconsciousness. So when she appeared at the hospital, the nurse took her aside and said, you know, I'm very sorry to have to tell you this, but while you were coming here, your mother went into a state of unconsciousness, and now it will not be possible for you to talk with her. But please go into the room and, you know, pay your last respects. So the woman went into the room, and her mother was there lying in the hospital bed, unconscious. And I guess there had been a lot of pent-up anger in this woman as the result of not being loved, or as she perceived she should have been, by her mother. So since her mother was in a state of unconsciousness, and she was now really acutely feeling the grief of her mother about to pass, she basically just poured forth all of her pent-up feelings from over the years. And she said to her mother, you know, you were not a very good mother. You were not kind to me. You were not loving. You were not the kind of mother I wanted to have, and basically just laid into her for a good 5 minutes. When she was done venting like that, all of a sudden, the mother's eyes opened, and the mother looked at her and she said, sweetheart, I just did what you asked me to do, and I love you too. And then she closed her eyes and she died. True story.